Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, whatever time or day you are listening. I'm Sean,
My name is Asael.
and this is Pleb Talk. And if you're new to the channel, if you're new to listening, just a quick little recap. We like to basically talk about something interesting, something that we found interesting, and we just have a few beers over it. Nothing too serious, but we do like to get pretty in depth in it.
Absolutely. Welcome if you're a first timer, or welcome back. Today we will be drinking what?
Yes, it's another real ale brewing company. I just really like their advertising. It's, simple, sleek. I like their, I don't even know, shapes or colors, but it's called Real Ale Brew House Brown Ale, 5.4%. Not too heavy, but seems pretty.
So you like the branding on this one? I actually think it's the dullest thus far.
Yeah, but I'm a pretty dull guy, so.
Like you probably can't see it, but it's just like a furnace looking thing, and it says brew house over it. That's it, and it's brown, which is it's not a very nice color, and also it says brown ale, which I don't think I've ever had a brown ale either. And I don't know if I'm gonna be looking forward to it, but
Yeah.
cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. Before I take a sip, I just want to point out it says a well-balanced ale with flavors of chocolate and toffee. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, we're
It's good.
I'm about to go, 2 feet deep, so.
It's yeah, it's good. It's almost like a Shiner type of thing, like a Bock.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Almost kind of like a Shiner Bock, Ziegenbock kind of thing.
I can kind of taste a little chocolate. See, the thing with like,
It's kind of the aftertaste.
yeah, exactly. The thing about these is I feel like that's once you get to the second one, you're gonna really be tasting it like the one from the second episode. I believe started tasting like cheese for you.
Yeah.
I feel like those flavors start kind of
That was strange.
bubbling up. As for myself, my jersey today is a Bayern Munich. I'm gonna say 16, 17 or so.
Looks like it.
Away jersey, or maybe or third. And Sean's.
Yes, I'm wearing Poland, and I got the one and only best striker in the world, Robert Lewandowski, on the back. We're not going to get into that, though. So
Not this episode, but I think we should. I think we
Yeah,
should. I think we
maybe.
should have like a player, legends, best of all time,
Yeah.
whatever type of thing.
And if you're new to the podcast as well, we like to, throw in a little 5-10 minute little subtopic, and then we get into it. So here goes a little subtopic. First thing I want to get into is, what do you think about the pharmaceutical companies?
Pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Like, quick meds, over the counter, drugstore.
Pharmaceutical, basically all medications. Prescription, over the counter, all that stuff.
Okay, so I think you're trying to get into something, but that's a very broad question. I think that they're okay.
You think they're okay?
I mean,
I feel like they are just scum of the earth.
scum of the earth.
Scum of the earth.
You're talking about like having like a remedy for something that could be widely.
Well, I'm talking about like the actual company itself, about how they are just basically they'll make any drug basically, not because it's the right thing to do, but mainly because it's about the money. It's about the bottom line.
Okay, elaborate.
So, remember how maybe a few years ago they had that whole basically what happens behind the scenes is these pharmaceutical companies will go to doctors.
Okay.
And basically wine and dine them, send them to the Caribbean, send them on a cruise or something, and be like, hey, look, now that we wine and dine you, we sent you on a cruise, we sent you to Jamaica, we want you to promote this product. So whenever someone comes in with nausea, don't use the normal, regular stuff. Use our stuff.
Okay.
They're like, oh, the doctor's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
And basically that's the premise of like pharmaceutical, back alley deals with doctors.
Okay.
I mean, first off, do you think that's right?
Okay. If the medication works.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Now, of course, if it's like a crazier high price compared to what's already used for that, then okay, I think that's kind of messed up. But if we're talking about the same thing and it works, I don't know. That doesn't sound that bad.
That sounds like a little bit like collusion in the business world.
Well, I mean, that's that happens every day probably. But as long as it's not like, it may not really work and they're just kind of really trying to make money, then okay.
So what about the whole like opioid epidemic, about how them making them super addictive and everything and all that other stuff?
Well,
because that's kind of what happened. They went to the doctors, but like, hey, use our stuff, use our opiates, and basically I mean, I don't want to blame the pharmaceutical companies completely on this one because people have their own addictive personalities.
But if it works, I think my thing is like if it works now, if you use it for something else, that's up to the consumer, right?
Okay.
But if if I needed X meds for my X condition and it works and it heals me, then I think they done their job.
So what about the whole thing about like insulin costing like 10 times, 50 times more than
that's something else, right? Because like insulin's I think the only remedy for
diabetes.
Yeah. So it's like okay, they're obviously taking advantage of the market.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
when in some countries it can cost just as little as $5.
Okay.
But in the U.S. it can be backbreaking sometimes.
Like hundreds, no?
Yeah. Oh yeah, hundreds, triple digits, sometimes quadruple digits.
And that's like for one dose, or
that's for like I think it's like a month dose. I think.
Even that for something that may kill you if you don't take.
Exactly.
That's something that there should be some sort of limit. But yeah, I think they are protected very well by laws, so that they don't have to comply with those type of parameters. But I do think that they are taking advantage of the capitalism.
So,
for sure.
And I bring up that little preface because so I did some research on this one company. I don't know if this is the chemist name or if this was the actual drug company name, but they were from Germany in the 50s or 60s, and they were called Chemie Grunenthal.
Okay.
All right. So.
Okay, Kenny Grunenthal. That's the name of either the doctor or the.
Either the doctor or the company name.
Medication.
I forget what it was. Basically, these German scientists claim that hey, like this is the best of the best stuff, and you can use it. Basically, it can cure everything.
Okay.
Basically, can cure everything.
How long ago was this?
This is in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, okay.
So typical garbage marketing, right?
Yes.
Can get away with anything.
Okay.
So, and what Chemie Grunenthal came up with was this medication called Thalidomide.
Okay.
And they said it was completely safe for pregnant women to use.
Oh wow.
And basically, it wasn't.
Ugh.
And the way they got around that was they actually had one of the people within the company actually on like the FDA board.
Oh wow.
And that person basically
brushed it off.
Yeah, basically didn't even really do any research on it. Just agreed with whatever whatever his parent company said, and basically passed it.
Yeah. And this was in Germany, or this is like worldwide?
This was worldwide,
okay.
But they were established in Germany.
Right.
So basically, around pregnant women started taking it. Obviously, wanted to cure their morning sickness, their nausea, their vomiting. Came out to around 90,000 miscarriages.
Wow.
And
90,000.
Another 20,000, the babies were actually born.
Okay.
And these 20,000 or so babies, around 20,000, they don't know the exact numbers, but around 20,000. Around 20,000 babies came out with either no ears, no arms, no legs, or completely stunted growth to where they have a normal sized body, normal sized head, but like a quarter the size arm. And like a quarter the size.
Jeez, what was in this thing then?
I don't know. Basically, it was basically stuff that would like stop cellular division.
Wow. And
we'll get into that here in a second. Basically, yeah. So there are a bunch of fake research papers made saying that it was safe, and obviously it wasn't. And whenever these 90,000 miscarriages came out, these 20,000 babies that came out. The company said, "Oh no, that's that was from like radiation, X-rays, CT machines."
How does one
BS like that? Saying that, oh yeah, no, that only happened because those were all botched self-abortions.
Jeez.
Over
100,000 cases.
Yeah, over 100,000 cases.
Jesus, son of a gun.
So this is what they did. They were told to. I don't know if they were told to or if they did it on their own free will, but they made a fund of $27 million and distributed $27 million to those 20,000 people who were still living.
Wow.
And do you know what 27 million divided by 20,000 is?
1.2, 1.3.
I'm about to do the math right now, man. It's pretty dismal. I remember $1,350.
Okay. I don't know what I heard, but that's not what I heard.
27 million divided by 20,000.
Jesus, son of a gun. That's
So yeah, those survivors got $1,350.
that's disgusting.
And
That's disgusting.
so fast forward,
Yes.
they made another fund in 2012.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's still around after 60 years, 70 years?
Yeah, exactly. They're still around. And it wasn't until 2012 when they actually apologized and said that, hey, okay, it wasn't botched self-abortions. It wasn't radiation. It was us. And we're sorry. And because we're sorry, now we're going to distribute $63 million. But there was still...
same...
Yeah, but this time there was only 15,000 people left.
Just...
Okay, around 15,000.
Okay.
And do you know what 63 million divided by 15,000 people is?
No. 20?
$4,200.
What the heck?
And
that doesn't sound right though. Hold up.
Oh, do the math yourself. And that was in 2012.
Maybe.
Am I right?
Yes. I didn't do it, but yeah,
okay.
in my head.
Yeah, pretty disgusting, right? And the only repercussions was that it was like the lead scientist or the CEO or someone was given 8 years in prison.
In German prison.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
That's an execution in our country, which leads us back. So this is actually episode 6, but this is part 2 of episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you guys haven't watched, I'd definitely recommend starting there, just so you guys kind of understand what we're talking about. In the second part of episode 5, we put up a hypothetical where Sean and I are leaders, kings, presidents, rulers of a country.
Our own country.
Of our own country. Not a real country. It's just made up.
Not a real country. Not a country already existing. It's our own country,
Yes.
brand new.
We're not, yeah. And basically, we're making the rules, laws, customs for that country as we see fit, basically. So we're basically dictators in a way, if you want to see it like that, which we probably don't. But
yeah.
What were the 2 things that we did cover just real quick in episode 5?
Transportation.
Yes.
And voting age.
Voting age, yes, that's right.
Was there something else that we covered?
Yeah, I think that was it. I think that was the future of transportation. We thought of trains and whether our country will have vehicles. I think you were vouching for just public transportation.
Just public transportation, exactly.
Okay.
Just public transportation, bikes.
Yes.
Walking.
No individual personal vehicles.
No individual personal vehicles at all.
Got it. And then the voting age, which Sean put up the age of 25 for one to be able to vote. I didn't actually say a number. I thought 18. I compared it to whenever. Actually, I won't even tell you guys. Go watch it and find out. Because, I would hate to break up 2 hours in about 5 minutes. So go find out what I thought about the voting age. And
I think we need to come to agreements on that in this episode.
Okay, we can leave that till the end.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about it since then, and I kind of have like a little bit more like I wiggled a little bit, but not all right. Close to yours. Now, so continuing, I have like an idea. So I've actually told you this before. We haven't talked about it though for this episode. I think that there should be a career profession, or at least the option to have bounty hunters, legal bounty hunters. So what I mean by this is that there should be a job, if you want to take, where you can literally go find people that are wanted for whatever crime that they've committed.
Okay.
They should also have access to some sort of like database with police officers. So I obviously want them, or FBI or whatever, law enforcement agencies. I want them to, okay, for sure there's going to be a training for this. Like, not anyone could just like pick up a gun and go find some guy that's wanted in Minnesota. That's kind of what I was picturing. Right? Because that's a little reckless and obviously a little dangerous. But I want them to have some sort of training for it, of course, where they have, maybe badges or whatever. But their sole purpose is to do this. Because I think police officers are already like overloaded. I'm talking about the United States, overloaded with like duties.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm sure there's a lot of police officers as well that they all divided quite well. But I think that they are left to do so much, traffic stops, child abductions, home disturbances, just like literally anything, and then even security for events or whatever. So their duties are so broad already, and I'm sure there's a lot of them, and I'm sure they do quite fine. But I think it'd be a lot nicer, effective to specify and have this one group, agency, department, whatever you want to call it, solely for this. Because I see what made me got to this thought process is that like top 10 most wanted in the United States type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like old people that have been wanted for dozens of years, decades.
Yeah.
Like this Mexican cartel. There's a Netflix show that has him in there. He's wanted for like millions of dollars. I'm talking like 20 million. You can go check it out for yourself. He's like a cartel drug dealer back in the 70s or 80s or something like that. And $20 million? Like if I had any tip of where this guy was up, where's that? I think I might, think about it, right? Right? You see what I'm saying? Like,
so what do you think the pay for these people would be?
Well, okay, so it would depend on how bad the police officer or police department, FBI agency want this person. So depending on what crime they've committed, if it was like, forgery, okay, it probably won't be much. But if it's like, murder or mass murder, then I can see the price going up. So they pay a lot for these, what do they call them? Wanted people. Like you can go search it up, top 10, and you'll see it's in the millions.
Oh.
For like the top 10, obviously there's more than 10. But I don't know. I would think it's pretty high. So if you want to put me in a scenario, like how much?
Okay, so that's the thing. So I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's wondering, like, is this gonna be like the Wild West? Like, there's gonna be a price for dead and alive?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not? I mean,
so let's say there's a bounty hunter.
Okay.
Going after this guy who he's stolen a few cars in his day.
Okay.
That's it. Just because he's just a bad guy. He just wants to steal some cars because he doesn't have enough. Well, we don't have cars in our civilization. But let's say he's a very well known pickpocketer.
Okay.
Everyone's like, drats. Schmorgy got me. Schmorgy pickpocketed me again.
Yes.
And a bounty hunter is like, all right, I'm going after Schmorgy. And goes up to Schmorgy. But this bounty hunter is out to kill. Okay. He's going out to kill.
Yeah.
But he gets killed.
Okay.
So what happens to Schmorgy?
His price goes up for sure.
Why does it go up?
Because he killed some sort of official.
So, but that official is out to kill him.
Yeah.
He's protecting himself.
That goes for anything. You can even compare that.
So his price goes up, and he gets more notoriety.
Yes.
I look.
I mean, isn't that already the case here in the United States? If you're getting a ticket for,
but they're not. See, the difference for that is the law enforcement in the U.S. are not going out to kill.
Yeah,
that's not their first instinct to go out to kill.
Well, it's not
this bounty hunter. His first instinct. This guy says, "You know what? I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to try to trap this guy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out to kill."
Yeah.
You're going to go kill a pickpocketer?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. I would also expand and say the dead or alive thing depends on the crime. So, if, like you said, a pickpocketer, I don't think that should be an option then. You can't kill this person. Because, first of all, you probably wouldn't be paid much for a dead pickpocketer. You'd be, what, 20 grand? I mean, 20 grand, 20 bucks?
20 bucks. That's
I was an example, but I don't think it would be very high for a pickpocketer. Now, if we're talking about, like I said, a terrorist, some sort of mass murderer, then yes, for sure, dead will have a price.
Okay.
I think that's important to mention. But, I mean, like I said, so people that have committed crimes, horrendous crimes in the United States, are probably wanted dead as well. Like, if you find this person, or as a cop finds this person, an FBI agent finds this person, they'll probably just shoot a kill. I mean, I'm saying their crime was so horrendous that that's fine, but not a pickpocket.
Answer me this.
Sure.
What is these bounty hunters' scope of practice? I guess you could say. So let's say he wants to go get him alive. he goes. I mean, is he allowed to like punch the guy? He's allowed to hog tie him, or I mean,
Okay, so you're thinking Wild West. I'm thinking some sort of tranquilizers.
tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm thinking something, tasers as well. Um, I wouldn't say pepper spray because that. Well, I mean, I guess maybe in some situations you get them real close that fugitive, then maybe pepper spray might actually do the job. But yeah, tranquilizers, some sort of, and I'm sure there could be like gun companies that can invest some time and money in making effective tranquilizers for humans, depending on their size and height and whatever like that. But I think something like that.
Wow.
Does that kind of answer your question? Because I mean, obviously, hog tying. I mean, come on.
I mean, I just wanted to know how forceful they could be. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, you can knock them out if you want. Sure. Why
Really?
not? I
So
mean,
just right hook to the head.
yeah. Why not?
So what is if it's a bounty hunter going after these people?
Yeah.
What are these people allowed to fight back with? Are they allowed to fight back?
I'm sorry, who? The bounty hunter or the fugitive?
The fugitive.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Of course, they don't want to get captured.
So they're allowed to fight back.
I'm not giving them permission. They probably will, though. I hope they don't.
But no, legally, because the difference
Oh, I see what you mean.
from what it sounds like, a law enforcement person, a true law enforcement, like a cop.
Yes, I see what you mean.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really know how to put it into words.
Yeah, there'll be like a penalty for fighting back against one of these agents for sure. Because we can basically call them police officers. Why not? Just with the
So basically, it would be like a subsection of the police.
Yeah, I think so. Because like I said, I want them to have some sort of information or database that they can get into to find information. Like I don't want these people to be like just randoms. Like, hey, where can I find X, Y, and Z? Well, okay, so I heard someone said that he was last seen in Montana, so I'm going to go see if I can find him somewhere in Montana. No, I want them to have police information and records so that they can have a better idea. Okay, it was in this bar at this time, this day, he was spotted. So yeah, I guess like a subdivision.
Okay, so it would be basically they are police. It's just a subdivision of the police.
Yeah.
So it's like like let's say the police has SWAT.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of SWAT, now they have we'll call them intel just to make them sound nice.
Yeah.
We have that's going to be that's not our SWAT division, but that's going to be our intel division.
Yeah. It'd be a very dangerous job for sure.
Absolutely.
Because I can imagine these intels wanting to. So I just looked up the drug dealer I was telling you about, Rafael Caro Quintero. He has a reward. It says the United States Department of State Narcotics Rewards Program is offering a reward of up to $20 million for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of this person.
So this is where I think it just doesn't really seem.
It's very faulty, and
That's the thing. It seems faulty because what I see that as about how the U.S. kind of does it already is that high risk warrants,
yes,
high risk arrests,
yes,
they're going to use SWAT.
yes.
So what's the point of these bounty hunters?
I guess it's like to have these detectives, I guess intels and detectives to like really like. I mean, I'm sure maybe the FBI may already have a division for this individual specifically. Like there's 5, 6, 7 individuals where like they just their case is this guy.
Yeah,
probably. But I don't know. I don't know what the process.
I believe so, because I remember there was like
probably. I just feel like they can get a little bit more intense with it, and I think that there's people out there like, hey, for $20 million, shoot. I mean, I'll spend a month or two like really like reading up on this guy and seeing what information I get. He might not even be in the United States. He might be in some. I don't know.
So you could actually travel for this.
See, yeah, I don't know.
And that's the thing. Like, what about international laws? Like, you go to South Korea, the guys in South Korea, and you go kill the person on South Korea grounds.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. I mean, isn't there like safe haven countries as well? Like, hey, this person's in here. He's probably a citizen now of this country. You have no business.
Yeah, you have no jurisdiction.
Yeah.
In this area.
Yeah, no jurisdiction exactly. So yeah, it's very faulty. But I'm just saying, this is one individual. I'm sure that there's individuals here all the time that do hit and run type of situations where they did murder and then they ran to Montana and there's really no one looked for them besides.
So you don't think that the FBI is already doing work on this?
Yeah, I feel like there could be a little bit more of a, I hate to say the word brutal, but a little bit more like, hey man, just get this done type of thing,
Let's get this done. Okay.
I feel like they might be following a lot of guidelines now. We can't, do. what if this is this crazy dude, like not crazy dude, this intel that just doesn't give a heck and wants to barge into his house or apartment where he allegedly is at and do it himself. It's very dangerous, of course, but there's also very well trained.
So he could do it himself. I mean, does he have to get signed off to go do it, or is that just?
The reason I'm saying is I want this position, this job, to stray away from the formalities of.
Look, see, look. This is the thing. I like the idea.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's kind of already SWAT's job.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know exactly what SWAT's job is. It kind of does sound what they would be kind of on, but I just don't. Like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of like, okay, that's not your job to do. You have to wait until this department gets this. So like, I feel like there's just so many steps.
Yeah.
Formalities.
Yeah, you're right, and you're right. There probably is loads of formalities. I'm sure there's
some people out there that just want their 10K for the weekend.
Yeah.
And they're trained. I'm just saying some idiots that are just like, oh, I got a gun now. I'm gonna go find this person. No, like they got.
That's the thing though. Just what kind of requirements?
Well, probably similar to SWAT. I don't know what SWAT's requirements are, but
it's pretty tough.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, see, I don't want it to be that tough to where like it deters from people that may be experienced or well, trained or whatever for that. Look, the reason I think about Red Dead Redemption is a game that it's set in the Wild West. I don't know, late 1800s.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
19th century, late 19th century, and so these bounty hunters they have some sort of location information about this individual that's worth X amount of $100, which was a lot of money back then. And they're well trained, and it's up to them. And there's no like safety to this. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go find this guy, lasso him up and put him on my horse. So we strayed away from that because it's very dangerous, like I said. But I'm sure that there's people out there that maybe have information they don't want to do anything about, or I don't know, they just want to step up. And why not have that job to do that? So this is something I think I'd consider if we were country leaders. I'll be like, hey, you know what? Let's make that a thing, or with, like I said, within the police department, make that division and just let some of the rules just fly out. And it's of course more dangerous. I don't know how much you'll be paid. I don't really want to get into that because it depends, like I said, on who you're tracking. But you also have to make money to move to Montana for 3 months to find this dude. So I don't really know where to go with that, but
yeah,
I think that was one of the things that I'd consider. And maybe it looks like you're kind of like trying to find some sort of like possibility of this position actually existing, and I think that's progress.
That's the thing. I feel like it's like one of those, It kind of have, I don't want to say it's similar. There's some somewhat similarities, but these private militaries,
yes,
they get paid buku money to go overseas, and it's like I think they have like 30 days on and like a week off, 30 days on.
And what do they do?
They basically protect. Usually it's bad people.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Usually
black
criminals.
market type of thing.
Black market kind of things, usually around Africa or like around just slums of Europe. But basically they're paid like $400K a year.
So depending on who they're protecting, I assume.
Well.
Or paid by who?
I guess it really depends on who they're protecting, but it's usually very, very, very lucrative. There's actually U.S. companies that that you actually apply with, but you have to be in very, very, very good shape. Like they want military. Actually, they require military experience.
I see.
Not just any military experience, but like infantry type.
Okay, so make sure I'm getting this correctly. So this is like a legal job.
This is a legal job.
Where you apply with
a certain security company.
Okay.
And they basically contract you out.
Okay. To
a person or some type of organization.
Yeah.
And you're basically told, protect this organization or protect this person. No questions asked. If you're under attack, you got full reign to shoot and kill.
Okay. And do you have an opinion about this, or what do you?
I'm just saying it kind of is similar in a way, because you don't really have any laws, Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar.
And they get paid loads for like $400K. Yeah. But they get paid loads because you really do have chances of dying.
And you said like what you mentioned, there's no jurisdiction for these individuals in.
Oh yeah, they have open reign.
So it's like, oh man, see, are they protected?
That's the thing. I don't know if they're actually protected.
Yeah, that's Yeah, I guess, exactly. It'd be something like that. I don't know if they'd be paid that much, but I guess. But then again, you're also hiring like the best of the best. For this job, I kind of do want good people, but I don't want to make it so strict to there's like 15 in the whole country. Like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
Or there could be. I don't know if they're that good, then why not? But something like that, maybe something like that. We're on the right track. There was another thing I wanted to add, but before we go to mine, you want to add something for the country? What else? What else are you thinking?
What do you mean?
What was that?
What do you mean?
Oh, for our country, any other laws or
So let's say, how big did we say our country was?
did we say?
I don't think we did. Was it like maybe Alaska size or Mongolia size?
Oh no,
or...
no, Alaska's huge.
I think we said Europe size actually.
Like a country in Europe, or the size of Europe.
I think we said the size of Europe.
Oh shoot, that's massive.
Let's just say the size of Alaska.
Okay.
I feel like that would be a good sized country.
About like 2 Texases.
I don't know. It was 2 Texas, but I feel like it'd be a good sized country, right?
Oh no, I think Texas is bigger than Alaska.
No, Alaska's bigger.
Is it? Okay.
Alaska's the biggest. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it should be like the size of Alaska.
Okay.
Do you want to do like states? Are we doing states, or is it just under one law or under one country?
Because the whole state and federal law.
Because I feel like states get in the way of things. This state has rights. This state doesn't have rights for this. This one does. I feel like it would just be one law.
So, if we're the size of Alaska, which is the state of the United States, we aren't that big. Well, compared to I guess other states in the United States are pretty small too, except for California and Texas.
Even then, other countries, they still have provinces and states.
Like Europe, what's the biggest state in Europe? I'm sorry, state country.
France, I think.
Is it? Yeah.
I mean, excluding Russia, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
They cross over to Asia, but yeah, probably France. I don't know. We're plebs. We're not. Yeah. Don't take us our words on this, but from our knowledge, it kind of sounds like the right answer. I wonder what the size comparison from France is to Alaska.
I know Germany has states.
Okay, but in Germany it's pretty small.
Yeah, relatively.
I
think it's a little smaller than France.
Okay, I know Spain is pretty big too. I don't know.
It's decent size, yeah. Spain is decent
might be with those 3. States, I don't know, man. So it would depend on how.
I think it should just be one.
It'd be. I think it'd be easier.
Absolutely.
When I think states, I'm thinking United States was massive. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I think in that sense, you kind of do need states to kind of,
really?
watch for their own. Because, dude, I mean, come on.
Because I feel
who's gonna take care of Montana?
I mean, forget.
No one cares about Montana. Okay, sorry. But
it's not that you.
You see what I mean? Like, you need some sort of focus when you're out in there. See, Alaska is also not that big.
So basically you're promoting different states having different laws.
Okay, so that's what I'm not promoting. I'm promoting. I want emphasis. I want to make sure everybody's
districts, provinces.
Sure. Why not? Call it what you want. It doesn't matter. But what matters is what bothers me with is the federal law in the United States is federal law and there's state laws.
Yeah, that bothers me too.
Obviously contradict themselves.
Yep.
One example, of course, is the marijuana laws. Like in Colorado, California,
gun laws
as well, and they strictly contradict what the federal law is and the state law, and it even being legal. For example, back to marijuana in Colorado and California, it is still federally illegal substance to be using. So if you are caught by a federal agent, then you can be arrested. You can be charged for having that legal substance.
Suppressors in Texas. They made a law, or the governor made a law saying if the suppressor was made in Texas, then you don't need to fill out government paperwork at all. You can just buy it, walk out the door.
Yeah.
And basically the ATF, basically the federal government agency who regulates suppressors and stuff.
Yes.
They basically sent out a letter to every single gun store in Texas and basically said, if you allow this, we're going to shut you down.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, but it's legal in that state.
It's legal in Texas, but federally that's not legal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I do disagree. I do not like how the state laws and federal laws interact in the United States. So I would be opposed to having 2 different laws depending on the province or district.
Okay, so it's literally then just for geographical reasons.
Something like that, because
if it's for just strictly geographical reasons, I get it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be something. It'd be because of that, but obviously, like I said, I want focuses in weird parts of our country where people may not want to go all the time. I want them to have some sort of I want it to be fair. I don't want there to be an area that's super, super hot to live in or to work at for whatever reason. I want there to be some sort of equality, which will happen, whether you want it or not. But I just kind of want there to be people everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
So would we allow guns?
Would we allow guns? Yes. I mean, I told you I like guns.
Okay.
Now we can get into. Well, okay. If you want to hear the specifics, and we already argue about this in episode 4, what we think individually about guns and how they should be handled. And I think we came to some sort of agreement. So watch episode 4 if you want to kind of see where what we think about them for our country. So I'd say that episode rounds up what we do for our country. 20 round mags. Okay, we agree on that, didn't we? You said you'd be mad, but you'd be okay with it.
Agree with an asterisk.
Okay, so 20 round mags.
I don't know about 21 round.
Look, I was pushing for 15. You said you'd be mad with 15. I'm sorry, 20.
I would be mad with 20,
but
I would accept 20.
Okay, so there we go. Asterisk, sure. That's the asterisk. That's explained. Cars, we said we're going to keep some. Okay, so you see, I hate to go back on the last episode, but you did say you want no public. No public vehicles, private vehicles. I'm sorry.
Right.
Which, we like cars, and we know there's a sport to it. There's something romantic about driving down the road with your music down or music up and your windows down. That's romantic. That's a Sunday drive. I mean, for me, Sunday drives are perfect. I mean, I love them. And that, I mean, with everyday life.
Sorry, but they're gone. They're gone, man.
Yeah, I disagree.
Think of the past.
I disagree, man. And like I said, also, it depends on the public transportation, how well that works,
It's going to work great.
I mean, I hope it is.
It's literally going to be the only sole way for transportation, so it would have to work great.
I hope so. Because, it would not work if we would depend on only subways to get to work and to your family's house and to Christmas parties and stuff like that. Yeah, no way. What about Ubers? What about Ubers and Lyfts and stuff like that?
No.
Well, that's not private.
No. That's going to be abused.
Okay, taxis. I guess what I mean is taxis.
No
taxis.
It's not big enough to. It's not enough of a vehicle to carry a lot of people. At most, you're carrying 3 people.
Yeah.
That's assuming you have a car or an SUV at most.
What about a night out with the squad?
Take the subway.
Dude, subways are gonna be nasty.
Take the train.
Oh man.
Take your bike.
Yeah, I just see so many downfalls with that, man.
I don't.
I see so many. Like, what if you're late to something and
that sucks.
It does suck.
I mean, the German bus system is pretty damn efficient.
How does that work?
It's like literally every 3 minutes. For peak hours, like morning commute and like.
We're talking buses, like subways,
buses,
or just
buses. Yeah, it's literally like every 3 minutes.
Okay.
Every 3 minutes at the bus stop.
I believe it.
No, another bus.
I believe it. Yeah.
Very efficient. I think once it becomes non-peak hours, it's every 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it's still pretty good for non-peak hours. And then at night, I think it's like hourly. Well, I mean, night as in midnight. Or no, I think it's 10 p.m. It switches to hourly.
Man,
I think
Friday nights is gonna suck.
Well, I mean, who's to say?
Because look, what causes? Okay, what can alleviate traffic
Take the subway then.
Well, yeah, any option.
The subway is basically completely automated. Same with the train, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could run, like that, easy.
Besides that, what else would you incorporate or take away from this country that now bothers you, or we would like that we would incorporate it in your country to alleviate some sort of inconvenience?
Like what? I'm a little. Are you asking me like
gas prices? Are you gonna? Well, see, that's the thing. We don't really have gas prices.
I mean,
well, we don't. That would mean
gas prices for the buses.
Yeah, there'd be like stations for the buses,
yeah.
But there would be no gasoline stations. So no petroleum. That's a lot of money right there. Our country. How will our country make money?
I mean,
there we go.
What do you mean? They're making stuff. They got factories. They're gonna make stuff. exports.
Yeah.
This is classic
But
supply and demand. Imports and exports.
okay, so I guess we'd have to kind of like put our country somewhere in the world to where we know what we can produce or
Yeah.
manufacture.
Yeah.
Where would you want to put it? Yeah, because I mean, obviously, if you.
I think the best place. I mean, obviously the best. I mean, are we giving ourselves the best geographical location?
Anywhere you want.
Anywhere I want,
Yeah.
and it just sandwiches itself in between exactly where I wanted.
Yeah, we're not trying to like move a country, but like in this
I mean,
area.
it would basically, move them apart.
Yeah.
It would basically expand land.
Okay, how about this? Give me like a continent rather.
All right, I think it should be.
You're thinking Europe or Asia.
I was actually thinking Asia.
Okay.
I feel like
Why Asia? What is Asia doing right?
China, Japan. It's not that they're doing right. Not saying they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like with industrialization,
Yeah.
Major cities.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think Europe has a lot of major cities as well. But I was also thinking warm water ports for leisure or imports and exports would be easiest.
Yeah.
Versus cold water ports.
Okay. What type of exports? What type of materials?
I have no idea. I mean, I think we would have massive things of lumber.
What about Asia or China or Japan, or I guess China's the best one? About their exports attracts you?
I mean, nothing really. I mean, China exports basically everything. I mean, they have
Cheap labor.
loads of factories.
Cheap labor.
Basically make everything for the world. It is cheap labor. It is absolutely cheap labor.
Okay, what do you think about that?
I think it's bad. I think it's awful.
Okay, so where are we getting to this?
I'm not saying we're going to have cheap labor.
Okay.
I mean, of course, we're going to have, like, real working laws.
Yes.
But, I mean, we'll have export. I mean, the U.S. exports with real working laws. Why can't we?
Yeah, but
same with Japan.
What do we export?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't.
It's weird, right? Like, I have no idea.
They export some things. I mean,
I'm sure they do. Maybe avocados from California. Avocados from California. Strawberries from California.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know who's buying them though. If they last that long, I guess you preserve them and stuff. But see, that's the thing. How are we making money? Because is our country attractive? Like,
it seems attractive to me.
Well, I'm saying like for a tourist to go visit.
Let's put it this way. Drugs.
Okay.
What's going to be legal?
Oh, okay. I like this. I feel
this is going to be a hot topic with people.
Not that. Well, I guess maybe Colorado might be. Well, besides their snow, I guess. I'd argue the second thing Colorado is known for is probably the marijuana.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Same thing goes with Amsterdam. Besides their red light district.
Mm-hmm. For prostitution.
Their architecture, their museums, and then also the fact that a lot of drugs are legal there. I'd say there's a main tourist attraction. Our country, what is legal in our country? So, cigarettes. Oh, you know what? Cigarettes are legal in basically everywhere. I don't think there's a place.
Basically everywhere. I want to say it's New Zealand.
Really?
That they are. They're trying to pass. Don't quote me on it.
Yeah.
I know a country is trying to outlaw it, but I think it's New Zealand. They're trying.
I think cigarettes are illegal.
I do too.
I don't think there's any benefit
I don't think there's any
whatsoever.
Benefit Absolutely none.
I think a beer probably takes more stress away than a cigarette, and does way less damage. Depending on how many you drink.
In moderation.
Yeah.
I think what we need to discuss education system.
Oh yes, we mentioned that.
Have we? I think we should do away with kindergarten through 12th grade, and transition to a more streamlined, more of an education system that applies to real life.
That likes to what? I'm sorry.
That applies to real life.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so you're talking about like the actual the what they're actually teaching. What is that word?
I don't know. What are you saying?
The curriculum.
Okay.
That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, I think we should do away with how the U.S. the U.S. curriculum.
Okay, well, it's okay. I agree. Where did we leave? Oh, do you have it over there?
Oh yeah.
What do you if you had to find pros to our current education systems, what would they be? I'll start. I think that there's something nice and new for students when they switch schools and stuff like that. Not because they're moving, but rather like grow into elementary. You have your friends and stuff like that, and then it's a little bit wider. There's more students when you go to middle school, and you grow with the new friends and stuff like that. If we keep it to where it's like the same building, but same dish type of thing from K to 12. I think that there might be some sort of numbness by the time you're in like 10th grade. Like, okay, I'm in the same building. I think that change is good and being moved around is good. So I think that's why you're being divided into 3 different steps to finish your education is okay. It's good, I think.
So think about this.
Yes.
I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm not saying I want to implement this, yes. But just think about this way. So the Philippines has a system.
Okay.
A little bit different.
Yes.
Actually, a lot different.
Okay.
It's called the batch system.
Batch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so in first grade or kindergarten, whatever it is that they have there, there's 30 kids, right? Every single year, all the way up until they graduate grade school, it's the same 30 people the whole time.
No.
No.
Okay. Go ahead. Is there more?
Oh, that's it. I just wanted to hear what you thought about that.
No way. I'm telling you that I think that there's actual real life lessons for individuals that go through the American.
So switching classes. I agree. Switching classes.
Teachers, professors.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree.
Sizes of classrooms. Also, don't think that the top 10% of an elementary school should go to one school, whereas the other 70%, 80% goes to another school. Because I think that dividing IQ levels or whatever you want to call it is also bad. I think you should mix them all. What do you think about private schools?
No.
Okay.
Done away with.
I agree.
I want to incorporate something from the German system.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yes.
But the German system, I believe, once they get to like middle school.
Yes.
It's either middle school or the start of high school. There's either start of middle school, end of middle school, or the start of high school. They have to decide whether they want to go to college or not.
Okay.
And basically, depending on your answer, switches up your curriculum completely. So if you want higher education, then you get, then you're allotted these set of classes. If you don't want higher education, you want to do something more vocational or something more technical, something that doesn't require advanced learning.
I disagree.
Then you get these classes.
Okay, I disagree.
Okay.
I think that's bad.
You think that's bad?
Yes, I think it's terrible. For someone that said no at the age of 13,
right,
that might change their mind and say yes at the age of or finishing high school, what happens to them?
But then how are you going to specialize school? How would you specialize school to where they're getting the correct information for a certain person?
So that's almost impossible to do, because even I ask you, so how do they do it in Germany, where for those people that said yes, how are they being trained better I
believe they just get completely different classes. They get completely different classes. Classes that.
So why not just make that the standard then?
What, to promote? Because then, if you do that,
yes,
if everyone gets allotted or slotted for higher education,
yes,
then what is that going to do for the colleges or for the universities?
Well, I mean, they still have to teach something. So I'm sure there's people that said yes and are at this higher education still go to college to be taught something.
And then what about for the people who fail?
Okay, well, just like there is in our current education system, there's like prerequisites that you have to complete then, or you're like dropped, not a grade, but like another class for easier math.
Okay, so let's put it this way.
Science.
Would you say then, it's like remedial classes?
Okay, yeah.
Would you say that everyone is automatically put in for the higher education route?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say once you get below overall, I think there should be some type of calculation.
Okay.
Once you drop below overall for all classes,
yes,
B average.
Okay.
You get slotted for vocational schools or like technical schools, no longer allowed for university.
What? No.
No?
No way.
Really?
I'm sure there's a list of famous people that are very smart and very successful in life now.
Yep.
That might have failed. 80 is pretty high. I'm talking like
80 is pretty high?
I mean, Okay, well, it's not high. I don't think it's very high, but for some people, it may be.
But I mean, it's a collective average of all your classes.
Yeah, yeah. And what if one's like really, really bad? Like this
Then you
person
have
just sucked
you
at
have seven other
English.
classes that'll bring it up.
Yeah. Well, we'd hope so, right? Unless they're, I just think it's too early. I think that before the age of like 18, or maybe even younger, I guess like 16, so much can go wrong in an individual's life. Family problems, life problems, medications, or disabilities and stuff like that, where like they just may have no motivation, no self awareness to actually try in school. Like I'll speak for myself. I guess I tried, but I was not like
I got to get this done.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Yeah,
I'm trying to get straight A's in high school.
No,
Yeah,
no.
no.
Like I
Yeah,
mean, I'll
no,
try.
no.
I'll study and everything, but I'm not like I gotta be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fail any classes. I wasn't below 80 or anything like that. But I could see in some people that they just really didn't care, and they might be doing great now, and they might have gotten a master's degree. They might have gone ahead. So I think that first, just completely disregarding an individual's opportunity to go to college is just no way, no. I mean, come on. Like I'm telling you, there's probably a list of very famous and successful people that probably had worse than an 80 average in all their classes in high school. And now look at where they're at. They probably went to Harvard or something like that.
No, just for clarification, I'm not saying every class you have to have an 80.
Sure.
I'm saying
Yeah.
add up all classes, divide by how many classes, and if it's below 80, kick them out.
Yeah, it sounds bad. I mean, it sounds like there could be something there, but I'm telling you, like case by case basis, I'm sure that there's people out there that probably had under an 80 in their high school and they're doing great now. So my thing is like I want to give the opportunity. I want to leave the opportunity there for this individual to come back, get their stuff together, and go to college if they so wish to. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's fine. I feel like for the most part, people that go to college actually kind of want to be there. I don't feel like there's many people that are forced to go to college because X, Y, and Z. I think that there's like if you're in college, there's probably something that you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like people, you can change your majors. That's fine. But you're in college for a reason. Like you're trying to get a better job. You're trying to grow. So I don't think that if you're saying like this person could just no matter what not go to any college, no, come on.
Or you get selected for like vocational schools,
Like middle school. I'm not middle school. Like a summer school type of thing. Like get this class done.
Like you know what vocational is, right?
Like emphasis on something.
Yeah, like a emphasis. I mean, it's after high school.
Yeah.
It's a specialized school for X, Y, and Z.
Like
But it's not.
or
It's not like, for engineering.
Right.
It's not for.
I mean, there should be an option if someone was like, "Hey, you know what? I want to be a bricklayer." Then sure, go ahead and master that craft.
Mm-hmm.
That should be an option. But if this person was being silly or maybe had home problems, family problems throughout their high school career, and they didn't do well in school, of course they'd have to like pass classes to graduate. Of course, that's a minimum. But I want them to actually have the opportunity, if they so wish, to go to college, even though if they're starting in like elementary math.
So how are we going to prep these people better for college?
So first, let's start with what's bad about our education system. So I see you saying is that
Let's put it this way. Right now, what do you remember from high school other than mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell?
That's a good one.
What from high school can you take that you were like, yeah, this really helped me in X, Y, and Z?
I do agree that there should be.
Because personally, I don't remember anything from high school being of value.
Yeah. Because it's so general. It's so
Absolutely,
so general.
And that's the problem. I think it should be more specialized.
Okay. I think that there should be. So I know that there are, what are they called? Cadet schools? Is that what it's called? What is it called? Well, you specialize in like medicine for if you go to this
Magnet schools.
Magnet schools, that's right.
Yeah.
So that already is an option. And I think that was presented to us back in middle school. To where if you kind of already know, which you're still pretty young. I was still too young to really like know what the heck I wanted to be or do. But if you want to in the United States, in Texas, you are back in middle school. You're presented. You go to these like big meetings with these like 5 or 6 high schools in your district that can help you specialize in a certain career path. So I think medicine was one. Maybe engineering was another one.
Yeah, I think it was STEM, like science, technology, math, engineering, math. Yeah.
So I think that's great. I don't think it was taken advantage by everybody because, like, I'm telling you, you're approached pretty young, but you kind of have to be because I'm sure there's a lot of people that already got their stuff together, like at the age of 14. Why not?
Oh
right?
yeah, and look at like some of like the Indians and like Pakistanis and like
right.
they got like their PhDs by like 18.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think that's a good step forward. I think there should be more options for that. Maybe like you're like already a freshman in your high school and you're like, hey, you know what? I kind of want to do it now. I don't think it should be too late. I don't know if that's an option for you to jump schools like that. I hope it is. If it's not, then it should be in our country. But so what you're saying is that it's too generalized, the
Absolutely.
education system.
Way too general.
So how are we going to fix that? I agree. So we should find some sort of
I think
solution.
it should be
So
specialized classes.
okay, but I mean that's great and all. But what do you mean? Like because there's electives. So electives
Right.
are classes that you get to choose for your following year.
I don't think there should be electives. I feel like electives are just fillers. I mean, whenever you looking at your electives, I mean, you're probably saying, this sounds cool.
So exactly. This sounds cool. See, I don't remember. Okay, hold up. Okay, so maybe there was some that were kind of silly, like the cooking ones.
Yeah.
Those are kind. I mean, well, unless you want to be a chef. See, that's the thing. Like maybe people actually want to be, some sort of.
And they have culinary school. That's a vocational school.
Okay. Well, but I think they should be available.
What do you mean?
And it was like, what was the other ones? There was like safety,
Let's put it this way.
I think electives are good though.
I don't think so. I think
They could be filler, yes, but the way depending on how you look at it. What if there's something like philosophy? I mean, that should be an elective. Yeah, something like some sort of like
I think
medieval philosophy is like, okay, that sounds interesting. They're not take the class too serious, but I do kind of want to dip my toes in that.
Get this. I think it should be only 10 grades first off. First grade,
Okay.
all the way to 10th grade, right? But I think at grade 7,
Yeah.
you say, I want to be this. Okay?
No. Which grade 7 is what? Grade 7 is what? 12 years old?
Actually, okay, maybe there should be more grades.
Wait, more than 12?
Well, I would want people to automatically get enrolled in school at the age of what's normal age?
Is
it 4 years old?
For kindergarten?
In a US.
Like 4?
Is it 4 years old?
4 sounds about right.
Okay, I want to do it for 3 then.
4 or 5.
I want to do it for 3-year-olds. Okay,
Okay, but that's fine. I don't mind that, but also you consider what they're teaching, ABC.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So kindergarten so you're starting 1 year earlier, so that's 13 grades, assuming, just because they're going to be in school longer. I think there should be 14 grades.
Okay, so what age would you
No,
graduate?
you're right. That's not, no. I think it should be 12 grades. Yeah, I think 12 grades is right.
We went from 10 to 14 back to 12.
Yeah, I think 12 is fine. And hear me out.
Yeah.
9th grade.
Yeah.
So you already started school a year earlier, so you have 1 year more of wisdom on the U.S. kids.
I disagree, man, because so if we're starting right now, we're saying, I don't know what age it is, might be 4. I don't know.
Well,
If
whatever
it's
it is,
4,
it's 1 year earlier for our
What more
country.
can you teach at the age of 3? It's not like we're going up in age.
You're starting
a year.
ABCs quicker. You're starting ABCs. You're cutting
I'm
numbers.
sure there's already a science to this, though, man. I'm sure that it's already been
It's
looked
a
into.
general science.
I'm sure there's professionals that have looked into how the brain works, what the brain can take at that age.
I don't think so. I mean, I think they
there's
probably
gotta
did.
be.
I think they have, but I mean, I don't think. I feel like when was this education system put in place? Has there been any reform?
I'm sure it's been, crafted to what it is now. I don't think that they started with this in the 30s and kept it ever since.
I think they did.
I know.
I mean, I'm just a pleb, but I don't know. But I think they did.
I don't think so. I'm sure that it's been, and even the curriculums are added to, some stuff are taken away. The textbooks are changed every once in a while. So I'm sure that it's being, built to what it should be. I'm sure they know it's not perfect, because obviously people don't pass, people failed, yada yada. And there's also, we can get into, where you went to school, some sort of bad side of town. What are they kind of just,
hear me out.
textbooks are 50 years old.
Let me finish what I was saying about my
sure.
education system or my reformation of it. It's 12 years.
Okay.
Like I said, you have 1 year extra of wisdom in school. I mean, you're getting whipped into, great intellectual shape. Okay.
Okay.
And of course, I think would be a very good focus or a very good a PE, 1 hour PE, but it's not like PE hey, here, go run around. It's true physical activity, ran by a real instructor, some type of physical education instructor, but a physical education instructor that it's not throw up a parachute, kids run underneath it.
Yeah.
No. It's like, real body mechanics, real movements, real sports. Maybe teaching them sports. Who knows? But 1 hour of that. And like I said, since you already have 1 year extra on U.S. kids at the age, or not at the age, at the grade of 9, okay, maybe even 10, but 9 or 10.
So what is an age? What I would think that's I usually add 10 to
What is that, like 14 years old?
I'm sorry, I don't add 10. I add 5.
Is it 14 or 15?
I add 5 to the year, so that's about 14, 15. Okay.
Basically, at that time, you say, I want to do something in medicine.
And you're like forced to say something.
What's that?
You have to say something.
Yes, you have to then say, you're 14 or 15 years old. You have to look this. Listen. I know you don't like this. I know
I'm
you
listening.
don't like
I'm saying.
You have to say, hey, look, I want to specialize in medicine. I want to specialize in engineering. I want to do something in law enforcement. I want to be a bounty hunter or whatever. So then you get those classes.
Okay.
Okay. And you can take them up until 10th grade or 12th grade. You're getting those specialized classes.
Yeah.
And then you can go to, university and continue. Okay? However,
Yes.
At 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, if you say, hey, look, this is not what I wanted. It's harder than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Then you get reverted back to whenever you establish what it was. And then you start at, let's say you didn't want to do medicine. Let's say you want to do engineering now.
Yeah.
Then you go into those engineering 1 classes back with all the other original 14, 15-year-olds.
Okay, that's terrible.
Why not? Or why?
So first of all, let's say I'm one of those kids that changed my mind. So I started as engineering. I'm a year in, so I only need 1 more year to graduate and get out of there.
No. Well, you're starting at 9 or 10 or 9th grade or 10th grade. But you still have 12 grades.
So there's 2 grades.
Oh, okay. Well, you said you. So
it's 2 years.
What do you mean?
So if I started at the 10th grade.
Well, no. Let's say 9th grade.
Okay, so it's 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say I'm now in the 10th grade. I did finish my first year.
Let's say you get to 10th grade. 10th grade, you start your specialized classes.
So I started as a medicine dude.
Okay.
Right. I'm finished my first year, going into the 11th. I don't like it anymore. I want to switch it. It's not what I liked. It's not what I thought it was. It's not that it's too hard. It's just it's not what I thought it was. Whatever. I was young.
Look, it saves you the heartache in college whenever you have to switch your major 2 to 3 times, because that's actually a real statistic.
I'm sure
That on average, college students changes their majors 3 times.
So
that's a real statistic. So I'm trying to eliminate that later down the road for them to not waste time.
Yes. What if it's, dude? I mean, I see what you're saying, and I get it. I agree. If there was a way for us to find out what we wanted to do, the earlier the better. Then let's go ahead and do it. My problem is that our brains are still just not at the age of we said 14, 15. I have a cousin that's 14. You know her. Bro, I cannot imagine her saying, I really want to do this. And maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. That's the thing. So I want to leave it open until she's not even thinking about careers,
Surely, come on.
I wasn't. I mean, okay, you know what? I had ideas, but I had no idea what I was talking about. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? I wanted forensic science. When I was younger, forensic science, this is what it is. And then I realized, you know what? Technology is already pretty good. They might not need forensic sciences by the time I'm 30, 35. So I'm gonna go ahead and do something else now. So I mean that's one instant where science and technology was just not. It was a lot faster than I was. But for someone that's 14, 15, there's just no way they could be like, this is what I want. And they might be right. And more power to them. More power to them.
That's the thing though. If people.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look, when you get to college, I mean, I don't know. I mean, did you ever change your major?
No.
Because I know I changed my major once, but that's because wasn't a good, left a really bad, taste in my mouth after. Yes. There was basically, long story short, there was a situation where an advisor.
We should talk about them, but yeah.
Yeah, an advisor, let me down the wrong path. But yeah, so because of that, I changed my major.
Yes. not that you wanted to, but or did you want to? Like, did you?
I changed my major at that point just because it just left such a sour taste in my mouth that I wanted nothing to do with it because I was basically restarting back from.
That's just crazy to think in a different dimension,
zero.
a different reality. You would be doing what you were first studying for.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about for one decision. So, I wonder what the statistic is for people that changes their majors in college. I wonder what that is. I wonder if it's high or low.
I think. Well, I can tell you right now. The average is 3 changes.
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, if the average student in college changes their major 3 times.
Okay, I disagree.
That's factual. That's factual.
I would have to see that. That doesn't.
You can look it up right now.
I would. I'm a little lazy though. That just doesn't sound right. I don't think I've known anyone that's done it twice.
I have known people who have at least done twice, and I think it's. I mean, think about all the people who go into college saying, "I want to do engineering," or "I want to do biology," but then they go into it and they realize engineering is actually way over their head.
I think maybe one sounds like real plausible, like very, very common. Very.
I mean, I've heard of people
60%.
trying to get in engineering. They realize that the math required is way too much for their comprehension, or it's just too hard for them. Whatever. Yeah. Switch their major, biology. I've heard people saying, "Look, organic chemistry, way too hard for me. Yeah. I don't want to deal with it." They switch to public health.
Yeah. I just don't think it's 3 times. I don't know I wonder what the percentage is for 3 times. And that's my question. But whatever, we'll look into that later. What I'm saying is that, back to my example, okay, I want to do medical. I did finish my first year back when I was 14, 15, whatever. I finished my first year. I don't like it. I want to do something else. I want to do police enforcement. I'm sorry.
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement. What should I do then? Should I go ahead and finish my medical career, my medical high school career, just because it's 2 more years and I'm out, and then I can pursue my law enforcement? Or should I basically start over, do another 3 years, complete 3 years, and then I'll graduate a year later? I'll be older now, a year older, but it's what I want. See, that's what I feel like a lot of people will be like 50-50 almost. So yes, it is what you want, but what does that mean? Like, what is you get a certificate?
I don't think it means a lot, because hear this.
Okay, then so if it doesn't mean a lot to graduate as a law enforcement,
no. I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that. Okay. My original question was, what did you remember from high school that was of value?
Yes. So we both agree that it's very general.
Yeah. Basically, look, let's put it this way. They basically take, like, what, 2 months to teach you how to solve for X.
Okay.
So I could teach a kid that in like a day.
Could you though?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe I'm not disagreeing.
They have to slow the classes down to where the kids with 50 IQ can understand it, and the kids with 130 IQ that are in the class, that they're all on the same page. Yeah, some get it quicker than others, so they have to slow it down to like snail speed.
So I took very few like pre-AP and AP classes in my high school career, but I gotta say that it was pretty accurate.
Like, I don't think so. I mean, I took a good amount of pre-AP and AP, and I still think it was relatively slow.
Look, man, my argument is for the people that change their mind. I would hate for them to, because you're talking about mandatory 3 years of whatever you want.
Or whatever you want. It's mandatory.
Okay.
Of whatever you want.
But that's the thing. I don't know what I want at the age of 14. Or so I think now. Maybe then I thought, like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I want. And then you come to find out it's not. So then, excuse me, I am now forced to redo those 3 years or the year, whatever I had left.
This is my argument.
Yes.
Because I found that there was nothing really of value, of intellectual value, in high school.
Yes.
Why not use it to, like, something meaningful to you? And if you got to restart, then restart. It saves you the heartache later on in college when you're paying for it.
Yeah.
I
see what you mean. So the electives, I think that they should be a little bit more.
So you still think that there should be electives?
They should be ramped up a little bit. I don't think there should be any like silly stuff.
I feel like elective classes were literally just stuff that you threw in, you didn't really care about. It was basically just a break for you.
I think there should be a little bit more like centered around something. So name one of the silly selectives. I can't really think right now.
I mean, I thought it was silly.
Yeah.
Nutrition. I mean, it doesn't sound silly, but I can't remember a single good thing that I held.
I think I took that one as well because it was silly.
Actually, the only thing I remember from that nutrition class was unsaturated fats and saturated fats.
And then calories, and then sodium, and then
you get into calories and stuff in middle school with science, with calories and then kilocalories.
Middle school is whatever, dude. I have no idea.
Well, don't make it. That's the point. Don't make it whatever. Make it more.
Well, it's also like
applicable.
My headspace at least for me, I was like, what the heck is? I just did what I had to do, and I'm out. I'm not
that's the thing as well. I think in the U.S. school system, I mean, what is a school teacher going to do whenever a kid starts acting up?
Detention.
You're going to detention. Oh, kid. I mean, if it's a bad kid,
yeah,
they don't care. I mean, that's basically nothing to them.
Until they, I cared about. I mean, okay,
you weren't a bad kid.
I was not a bad kid.
Exactly.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, you care because you weren't a bad kid, right. But a bad kid, detention, boo-hoo.
And then they end up in
I've been in detention 15 times. I mean, not me, but I'm saying the bad kid.
But then they end up in one of those other schools. What are they called?
Alternative schools.
Alternative schools. So like they sort of like.
So skip the alternative school. Where alternative school, it's super strict. Why not just make middle school? I'm not saying make middle school the alternative school, but I'm saying make the school system, make it to where, they have somewhat of force. I'm not saying they can beat the kids, but they have.
Oh.
I'm not saying to beat the kids, but they actually have somewhat a say.
Example. What are you talking about? Hurt your grade?
They could come up with serious consequences.
Hurt your grade?
Your grade, not just based off of, let's say you're a bad kid but you got good grades. Be like, look, you're a bad kid, you've been acting up, you're literally stalling the class, like, this is hurting your overall grade.
Some sort of like participation grade that depends on your attitude or some sort of compliance.
Or compliance, but basically teachers again, back in the day with like the US system, they had paddles.
Yeah. In Mexico, they might still. So
they might, yeah.
I agree. I think that we're going to go down to something. My argument, or me playing devil's advocate, would be: what about the teachers having some sort of agenda? Oh, this kid, one time didn't shake my hand. I'm gonna do some stuff. Something like and teachers could. I mean, why not?
I have never heard of this before.
Oh, that's an example. But I'm sure some teachers have some sort of biases for some kids. Maybe. Bad biases like racial, like, oh, you know what, this kid is Hispanic. My ex-husband was Hispanic and he had bad teachings, and he kind of reminds me of him. Because of that, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's going to hurt his... So you also don't want to give too much power to the teachers. Because teachers, unfortunately...
I think they should have... I think they should have more power. But I don't think... I'm not saying give them free reign, but I'm just saying they should have more power.
See, because, man, the thing about teachers is that in the United States, they aren't paid very well. They're also not very respectable positions. We're talking about high school, middle school. Once you get into colleges, and of course they can get their resume pretty good. But middle school, high school, elementary, they aren't really respected as educators for the future of your country.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I saying? Maybe their their college careers should be a little bit more rigorous. Perhaps maybe they should have some psychological classes, some sort of sociology classes that are incorporated into. I mean, they might already be. I don't know, but I feel like also because the teachers that I remember, I had some really cool teachers. I still remember them, but I also had some they really did not give two F's about what was going on. This is another school year. This is the test. Be ready for it. And here's your study guide. And then meet me here next week. And it was routine for them. And
for
I think
college
that
or
for high school,
for high school,
routine. I mean, dude, imagine being a teacher for 20 years. You have the same curriculum for 20 years.
That's the problem.
That is a problem.
They have the same curriculum.
Exactly. It might change. Okay, now you got to teach about this war. And now you got to take this thing off. Now you got to add this. I cannot imagine. Okay, here's my new students. I remember your name.
Why not have it like a college, where I don't want to say like college, but a lot more teachers teach a lot more different subjects in college. You know,
Okay,
like
but
there might be a professor
that might
teaches.
just also dilute the emphasis on their speciality.
No, not at all.
Well, you got to teach, microbiology, and then you got to go ahead and teach them some physics, and then you got to teach them.
Well, I'm talking about keep it within its jurisdiction. Keep it keep it within its discipline.
Science.
Science with science.
Well, sure, but I mean, we get into like really hard classes where microbiology and stuff like that, or organic.
I mean, obviously we're not teaching that in high school, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for example, like a lot of the sport coaches were also like history teachers and English teachers. Is that okay?
Let's put it this way. Forget that about sports coach. I think sports coaches should be teaching sports.
Okay.
And that's that. Maybe that could be an elective not elective. Maybe they could teach classes for the people who want to go into sports management. That's actually, its own sub-realm or whatever. But hear this. Instead of, a teacher teaching Math 1
Yes.
for 20 years.
Yes.
They have to teach all 4, Math 1, 2, 3, and 4.
The same year.
Same year, yeah. To keep them, fresh. To keep, to not bring down their intellect if they're teaching Math 1 forever.
And then the argument is like, what if that teacher wants to just teach Math 1?
Well, then you're not going to be a teacher.
Oh, man.
You sign up to be a math teacher, you're going to understand math. You're going to understand, because that way, let's say you're a Math 1 teacher in 9th grade. What if you don't even really know what the Math 4 teachers are? So you're only teaching your little, realm, and you're not even sure of how it connects to future math disciplines.
I see what you're saying, and I see I kind of agree, but I disagree. What if being taught math by a different professor at each step also prepares you for your college professor that may not teach like any of the previous? Now you're a little bit more flexible with your math. You might be like, okay, when he says this, I got to take some from here and take some over here, because that's what, so if you're also taught by the same professor, by the time you're in college, like what does he mean by cos, tan, sin, when you do that? Like, no, I was never taught that. I had the same teacher for the last 4 years for math. So I think that's a pretty good argument against.
I mean, you're not getting the same teacher for the last. Oh, that would be pretty.
Okay, so what you say? You said math 1, 2, 4, and 3, and 4.
Yeah,
same professor.
You get all. Yeah.
And how are you going to fare against a new professor?
I'm not saying you're going to get the same one. It would be crazy, weird luck of the draw to get the same one.
Oh, you're just supposed to teach the next.
Yeah, they're just supposed to teach all 4 disciplines of whatever math 1, 2, 3, and 4 is. You're not going to get the same students.
So I think it's not okay. Well, I think you're maybe 1 or 2 maths. Two maths.
Regardless, I feel like we're getting a little bit off topic.
Because I think the teachers are very important. I think.
Yeah, you're right. But are we in agreement that there should be? You start to specialize at 10th grade.
Okay, so what is the option now for the cadet schools? I'm sorry, you said
magnet schools.
The magnet schools.
That's in middle school.
So that's about 9th, 8th grade or so.
8th grade, yeah. Going into you don't go to high school, you go to magnet school. I mean, magnet school is the high school.
Right.
You don't go to a regular high school.
Right. So that's the option currently in Texas.
But it's not. Yeah, but it's not utilized. I mean. At least from my understanding, it doesn't really seem utilized.
What if you just don't know what you want to do when it comes to the 10th grade?
So basically, you're sticking to the same old education system that seems.
I think we should improve what we have instead of revamping and just choosing this other thing. Because
I think you're wrong.
Okay, what if you don't know? Answer that. What if you're at 10th grade or whatever and you just don't know?
Give us an answer. Just give an answer then.
Oh, see, that's just recipe for disaster.
How can you not know? Look, if you don't know,
I know you didn't know.
I did know. I knew literally from like 6th grade that I want to do something with computers.
And are you currently pursuing that?
No, because I was wronged. I was wronged in college.
Okay, you were
not wronged. In high school. I was wronged in college.
So how bad did you want it if you didn't pursue it even after you were wronged?
Imagine someone telling you after 2 years, "Hey, guess what? Everything that you just did for 2 years means nothing."
But then again, it was a pre-college that you were going to, so like it wasn't even that serious.
It was a junior college.
Yes.
Which is still college. It still counts for all college credits. I would have had 2 years going into university. Well,
my argument is like, dude, you're 14. What the heck do you know? like I said, I knew what I wanted, and I was wrong, and I found out I was wrong. That it really wasn't what I wanted. So my argument is for those people that just don't know. I'm telling you, I know someone that's 14 right now, and I doubt this person can name the career profession they want for the rest of their life at 14.
And
There's
that's
just no
why
way.
I think middle school should be revamped. I mean, to where you got these people on a better path, on a better intellectual path.
Yeah,
I think the U.S. has gotten a little too lazy.
I agree. I think that it should be stepped up a notch, not all too much. Though.
I think it should definitely be stepped up. I feel like the U.S. is just it's like there's a cushion for acceptance of mediocrity.
Possibly, I could see that.
Maybe that's too much of a strong
and
word.
Also, I think there's people that just bloom a little late. Some people just bloom a little late. They just quite don't know what's going on.
If you bloom a little late, then
what do you say at 14?
Then you just say whatever, and if you don't like that, then you start with look. The point is, you're missing the. I think you're missing the point here.
I see what you're saying. Like, you find out exactly what's going on earlier. I just don't think it's the right way. So what you're saying, like, let's say this person doesn't know. He says engineering. He quickly finds out that's not what he wants. He goes to another one. But what if that happens again, and then again, and then again? And it's like, you know what? He just ended up quitting school. What if people dropout rates probably pretty high for people that maybe went to two different years of different specialities, and they just ended up working at a local restaurant. And like, dude, that was a waste.
People do that though.
Huh?
People work at restaurants their whole life. So what's the difference?
And that's fine. I nothing wrong with that. But I also think that it shouldn't be because the first two options were wrong. I think that they should finish high school, have some sort of greater education.
Forget calling it high school. At this point, once you pass middle school, call it specialist school.
Okay.
So it just...
I think magnet schools are great. I wish that they were a little bit more prominent. I wish that they were a little bit more emphasized. I wish that there was more information on it for people that were just kind of like, going through the motion, which I was definitely in middle school. I was just kind of like doing my thing. I would go to the meetings. I would listen. I was like, okay, medicine's not my thing. Engineering's not my thing. All right, I'm out. Maybe more cadet schools, more options. I was magnet schools. I don't know why I keep on saying that. More options. And maybe even joining in late. Hey, you know what? I've been in my regular high school for my freshman, sophomore, but now I really, really want to try out astrology or something like that. Can I join now? Sure, why not? You'll have to take some like prerequisites, but you'll be in the loop in about a couple months. Something like that, man. I want options. I don't want anything too strict where, like I've said, dude, individuals may grow up in a very harsh household, harsh environment, harsh neighborhood. They could care less about choosing medicine and engineering at 14. They could give two F's about choosing that.
I don't think so. I think you're wrong.
So you think people? I'm talking real general.
I think if like we said, gave teachers more power in elementary school and middle school and specialist school, whatever you want to call it, I think people would be more intellectually inclined to want to specialize into a profession.
Or there could also be people that are like, you know what, this is too much for me. I have no time for this. I'm going to go sell some drugs. And that makes way more money than a lot of these professions. I'm going to do that. And I'm talking about like districts or areas in states and cities that really just kind of like, that's really what they're known for. I'm trying to avoid that and have them at the very least have a high school education, a certificate, GS, what is it? GED. At the very least have a GED. Whether they rip it up or roll a joint on it, that's up to them. But at the very least, they have that. Instead of them at 10 years old, at the 10th grade, I don't know, this is too much. There's only.
I've heard from someone that a GED was a complete joke.
Yeah, and it probably is.
The classes.
But there's people that don't even have that.
It's literally there. That's very few, and nowadays, very, very, very few.
Okay, it is decreasing, but why not make it 0%? Look, I think this is very good. I think we're getting to something. I'm glad that you're at a different perspective than I am, because I really haven't heard that. Not that it's wrong, but I think we should compensate and say that yes, I think schools should be a little stricter. I think that electives should also be a little bit more specific, a little bit more not so fun type of thing. But I think that there's also electives that are great. Like example, the agriculture one, raising farm animals. I think that people that kind of chose those electives may actually still be doing that for the most part, or their families maybe have farms or ranches and they already know something like that, and they kind of want to, grow their expertise with farm animals.
I think farming should be an emphasis, actually. I think farming should be an emphasis in the sense of, to be viewed as a noble thing.
Yeah.
And
I just don't know how.
Just to be more self-sustainable.
With machines nowadays, man, I don't know if farming's even a thing for humans.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, think about it.
Absolutely.
We're talking about machines that do all the farming for you. I think
No, I think farmers would disagree with you wholeheartedly.
Look, I think there's a lot of farming going on. I just don't think you need that many people for it anymore. And it's a very romantic career. It's a very beautiful, fulfilling career, but I just don't think there's much need for that with all the technology that's readily available for these farmers nowadays. Like, I think that most of their job is actually moving machinery around, whereas it used to be manpower, cutting up crops and picking up cherries and strawberries. And so I think there's machines that do all of that. So I disagree that there should be, sure, why not more electives? But I think that'd be a very silly elective as well. I think it wouldn't be taken that serious. I mean,
like I said, I disagree, but
are you this? I mean, hold up. I just want to make sure that we agree that most of farming nowadays, no matter where you are in the world, well, okay, I take that back. In the United States, is machinery ran.
To a degree. I
to
wouldn't
a
say
big
most.
degree.
I mean, it still takes a farmer to load everything,
What do you mean load?
Load, like, basically, figure out what to plant. The farmer's supposed to drive the tractor, basically.
Okay, and that tractor plants the seed, waters it, and puts dirt over it all in one motion.
They have different tools for that.
Machines.
They have different machines for that.
That instead of, it used to be some dude, with a shovel, or some person with a shovel, shoveling up, seeding, and then watering, patting down the dirt. Where now it's a machine that does that all in one motion. Maybe not even ran by a human. It's just like press the button, they go and do something else. Look, it's great, and I hope that there's a lot of farmers out there if they want to be farmers, but I don't think that it's a career that people should invest. I don't want to.
I'm just saying, for our country, I feel like it should be something, promoted, just to promote self-sustainability.
I agree.
I mean, like I said, not everyone can be an engineer.
Oh yeah, and I agree. But how? And then we're talking about how much should they be paid? Should they be as much as someone else? I mean, all that is just labor.
I think from what I read, I believe farmers get paid pretty well.
By who? By just the crops that they grow?
Yeah, from what they sell of their crops.
So then it comes down to what crops pay more than the others, and there might be like too much of something.
And I mean, yeah, and farmers understand that. I mean, they're not stupid.
Well, yeah. So, okay, I guess we should say, like, in our world, or in our country, I'm sorry, we should kind of treat all crops the same. Something like that. Well, then again,
because you can grow some a lot quicker than others.
Sure, and then
like
there's
a
also
pineapple takes like 2
you
years
need
to
more
grow.
corn than you need cherries in a country.
Right, but I mean, like I said, like with fruit,
Yeah.
I believe it's pineapples take a full 2 years to grow.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I mean, pineapples got to be a little bit more expensive than cherries.
Oh yeah, true. I don't know, man. We're getting into something, but I think that wraps up part 2.
I don't know if we even agreed on anything.
Well, we agreed that electives should be a little bit stricter.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and recap. We agreed that schools should be a little bit more. And I know that it's just my thing is that, honestly, I was like not woke through my middle school and high school to where like I was paying attention to that, and it was all like optional. Like if you want to go to this meeting, learn about magnet schools, then you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I kind of wish there was more like. Maybe that question. Hey, what do you want to be? But not forced in any way. Like, okay, what you say here is.
It's going to be. I mean, of course, 3 years preceding. It's going to be like, hey, in 3 years, you got to pick your profession. Don't mess up. It's going to be reinforced. It's going to be reinforced. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, but what pressure does a kid even have? Nothing.
I didn't.
What pressure did you have in middle school?
I didn't.
Exactly.
But a lot of other kids might have. And
what?
Okay, we also went to a pretty privileged district. I'm talking about those people that don't, man.
Come on. As a kid, what responsibilities, what pressure do you have?
I didn't, but I can imagine, bro. I mean, single mothers having
Okay, a
younger.
single mother isn't gonna tell her 10-year-old, hey, you got to start working because I can't provide.
I've seen some stuff, man, and
You've seen some
I
stuff.
have, man, and
You've
like
seen some stuff.
I'm saying, like maybe you're the oldest, and your mother's a full time, maybe 2 jobs, trying to pay rent, and you have to take care of your 2 little brothers. What the heck do you care about being a doctor in 15 years when you have to take care and feed and diaper your little siblings? Oh, come on, man.
Look, that's not your obligation.
I'm sorry.
Look, I mean, okay, look, let's put it this way. That isn't your promise to take care of whatever. That's basically a promise of the parents. It would be an obligation for another sibling to take care of another sibling in that regard of change the diaper, get their food ready.
Yes.
That's just an obligation. It's not a promise. That's like a promise for the parents.
Sure. But also, some parents don't give two f's about what's going on back home. They just kind of want to make some money for. Look, I don't know, man. My argument is for those people. I just don't think that majority. I don't think they would do that much good whenever there's situations like this. And these are the people. And like, let me tell you this: these people, the ones that I'm describing here at 14, 15, these are the people that we need to participate more in society, to build our society. It's not, we don't really, those white collar people, those, very fancy high schools and stuff like that, they'll be fine. Trust me, they'll be fine. I'm talking about the ones in the slums, in, the harsher parts of town. We need those people to kind of have some sort of stricter, I don't know if it's stricter, but some sort of more attention. So that way that there's no parts of town that are bad. Does that make sense? And I think I'm getting to something there because, like,
look, I wanted to say that there's gonna be no bad parts of town.
Okay, but see,
that's
inevitable.
Yeah, exactly.
When we have systems,
so why it's not even worth mentioning.
Look, I don't even think you should be able to drop out of high school.
I don't think so either.
Okay, so there's progress. You see? So I think it's by making it harder for there to be areas of town that are cheaper or harsher or whatever, because those people don't care about being engineers. Those people see, like, oh, look, bro, I gotta eat later today, and I'm probably gonna go to church. Okay, no disrespect to churches. I gotta go to this restaurant and eat the cheapest food they got, and that's what I care about. I'm gonna write whatever on that piece of paper, whatever they ask me, and I might go through with it. I'll probably just drop out.
See, I think you are looking at it from the now U.S. perspective of people who are lacking apathy. So with the current system.
Yeah, so we got to see the faults from other countries, U.S. in this.
No other country has a system like this, basically.
Okay. But so far we've based it on it, so far.
Based it loosely off of, like, the German system.
Which you said, was that they choose their...
They have to choose whether they want to go to college or whether they don't want to go to college.
Oh, that's right, and I think that's silly.
Germany's doing just fine. They're a first world country.
I don't know.
They're in the G5.
Yeah, and then
they're basically a world superpower.
Yeah, but also Europe is a lot easier to move, so maybe those.
So what about the U.S.? The U.S. is lucky. Imagine if the U.S. had the same problem that European countries had, that they were surrounded by many other European countries.
Would we strive? Without a doubt, we're probably
and basically the U.S. had an advantage of a landmass that wasn't controlled by anyone except for people who they could easily just steamroll over.
Yeah. It's an interesting situation what the U.S. is in because Mexico is obviously doesn't fare as well as the U.S. and then Canada does a better job, but I think that they have some great things and much better than we have here. But also I'm sure there's faults over there, and that's why that happens. Yeah. But
all right, man. I guess we're gonna just.
I don't know if we're disagreeing on much. I just don't think that we.
I think we're disagreeing, and
I do disagree that. You shouldn't have to have and be forced to have a decision made by the age of 14 to decide what you want to be when you grow up. I see where you're going. I just think that there's a better way. Maybe I should come up with one. like I said, I think magnet schools are on the right track. They just aren't emphasized as much. I think we agree that schools should be a little harsher. The electives should also be a little bit more in depth, because there's a lot much more out there than just nutrition and stuff like that. I think that we can get into philosophy, we can get into better parts of history, because like our histories were like Texas history. Like, okay, you know, that's good that you know that, but can we get into like some European history or some sort of?
I mean, you get into European history in like other different grades. I mean, Texas history, I believe, is 7th grade in Texas history. I don't know about like Vermont history. I don't know when they do their own, or Montana or Michigan history.
Like an emphasis on European history or World War II history, war history, history.
I mean, you get into that in high school, now high school.
Did we do that?
Yes. You get into
world history.
Yeah.
And that was super vague though, right? But what if you want to get more into it? I think so. Electives shouldn't be as strict as it. Like, oh, you have to do this essay, this 15-page. They'd be like, hey, you know what? It should be kind of graded as an elective, but more information, something like that. I think that's because you don't want to be like forced.
I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to agree to just disagree.
I don't think all 8 classes you take have to be, you know, sweaty.
I think so.
Like super.
I think they should be. I mean, forget having 8 classes. Maybe it should just be 5 classes, but they're sweaty and they're longer.
Well, I think that having more classes is pretty cool for those electives. Like I said, what if you want to get more into like World War II history?
Like I said, I think you should have lesser classes because you're specializing, and the classes should be a little bit longer.
Ooh, no, I think. Well, what are we right now? An hour and 15? Is that what?
In high school, I think it was 48 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think an hour is okay.
Well, I think an hour 15 is perfect, but yeah.
That's college, right?
Yeah, that's college.
Yeah.
Right about an hour 15, hour 45, something like that.
I don't know, but progress. I think this was a good one. I like that. I like that topic because education is a big thing. I think the role that teachers have is also very big because, like I said, they're teaching the future of this country. So it's important. They should be respected more. They should also have a little bit more rigorous curriculums and what is it like? They should be a little bit stricted. Like
yes,
the principal should be a little bit more strict on teachers, I think, also. But whatever. Let us know what you guys think. So we covered a lot on this one, actually.
We did, yeah.
But let us know what you guys think. Bounty hunters, yes or no? Education system. Would you like how it is? Do you hate how it is? What would you change to it? And then what did we were going to cover something at the end. What was that?
I thought it was just strictly education at the end.
Okay, well that was a big part of it.
All right, so yeah. I'm Sean.
My name is Aseo.
And this was episode 6
of Pleb Talk. Signing out. Y'all have a good afternoon, good morning, good night. Have a great weekend, and happy holidays. We'll be back with some more cheerful, jolly episodes coming up, as well as a special edition beer for the holidays. So please tune into that. Like the video, subscribe, check out our Instagram account. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Play, as well as obviously YouTube. Peace out. Good night. Good morning.
And Pleb Talk out.
XOXO.